Hey guys, this is Alex from Low-Key Millionaire here, and today I wanted to talk about something called the poverty line. The poverty line was a number devised by the government that measures the minimum amount a household of four needs to survive. Do you know what that number is? It's $32,150 currently, as set by the federal government. They think that, you know, the minimum amount needed for a family of four to survive in today's modern society is $32,150. Guys, you are not going crazy. The world is going crazy. This is absolutely insane. There, I dare anybody, any of these government officials, show me how you can feed and survive as a family of four on $32,150. That is a little less than about $3,000 a month, you guys. I don't know about you, but here in California, that would not even be enough to cover rent. Rent in this country, sorry, rent in California, in LA, San Diego, you're looking at minimum a two-bedroom apartment would be about 26 to $2,800 already just for the rent, and just to be in an okay so-so area. Two bedrooms, about $2,800, you guys. If you want a three bedroom, you're looking at about $3,300, $3,400 minimum just for a three bedroom, and this is just for rent. That is absurd. The poverty line number that is currently stated by the government, which is $32,150. That number, let me take you back to its history and see and tell you how the poverty line was first calculated. It was first introduced by economists back in the 1960s, and back then they calculated the poverty line number by simply tripling the amount of food costs that a minimum family of four would need to survive for that year. So they just basically took into account just the food costs, and then they multiplied it by three. They didn't take into account any of the housing costs, any of the medical costs, any of the transportation costs, the childcare costs associated with running a household of four. So let's go back in time, back into the 1960s, and figure out why that was. Well, back in the 1960s, it was a completely different world. It was almost 60 years ago. It was over 60 years ago, in fact. The housing was plentiful and abundant and cheap. You could rent a place for next very, very affordably. You could buy a house, and the monthly payments, the mortgage would be very, very reasonable. The other thing was healthcare costs. That was practically non-existent back in the 1960s because your medical insurance was largely covered by your employer, like your boss or the company that you worked for. You did not have to buy private medical insurance back in the 1960s. Another reason is, of course, just the social norms back in the day. Back in the 1960s, it was sufficient for one breadwinner in the family to go out there, earn enough money, and make enough money to basically put meat on the table. Usually, that was the husband or that was the man's job, and that consequently that left the other spouse, usually the wife or the mom, enough time and enough free time to basically stay at home and be a stay-at-home wife and watch out for the kids. Then guess what happens when you do that? Well, a couple things. Number one, you don't incur the cost of childcare. If you have mom staying at home, then you don't need to pay for daycare. Daycare nowadays, do you know how expensive that is? One child would be at least, I've seen at least about $1,000 a month here in California. Closer sometimes to 1,500, and I've seen up to $2,000 per child if you're living up in the Bay Area, you guys. That is an absurd expense that was not accounted for and is not accounted for by the federal government these days to calculate the poverty line. The other thing about the one spouse working and the other one staying at home is that the transportation costs are reduced. So back in the day, if dad only went to work, you probably could get by with just needing one car. And so only one car payment, one car insurance payment, one, filling up the gas, registration for the car insurance, all these things. But nowadays in modern society, most people need two cars because both parents need to work. And so that doubles the transportation costs of modern day society. It's something that the government still has not caught on yet. And another thing, I mean, things have gotten so bad that there's such a thing called the DINK lifestyle, DINK, these days. That stands for dual income, no kids. That means you need two incomes, basically the man and the woman working full time, providing. And so there's two incomes, and with the not having the expense of having any kids, so no kids. That is what some people need in order to live a comfortable, you know, lifestyle where they have enough savings, they have left enough left over to do like fun things like go out to eat, go on vacations once in a while. People are subscribing to this thing called the dink lifestyle nowadays. And there's this economist today, his name is Michael Green. He calculated that the poverty line should be raised to $140,000 for a household of four to survive on. He calculated the cost of housing, food, transportation, medical insurance, all these factors, and he came up with that number, $140,000, you guys. Whether or not you think that's the right number or it's a little low or a little high, it points to the fact that the cost of housing, the cost of everything has risen through the roof, it has skyrocketed, and is no surprise these days. You need about $140,000, according to Michael Green, in order to cover the expenses of a family of four. Is it any wonder why people are so dissatisfied and so outraged by the current system that they're in, where it feels like they're just getting by no matter how rich you guys, no matter how much money you make, no matter how much things cost, people always feel poor. Can you believe it? Even people making $100,000 a year would feel poor at this point because they can't cover enough of the expenses needed to raise a family of four. Back in the day when I was growing up, when I was just coming out, uh, a six-figure salary, $100,000 salary was the sign that you had made it, quote unquote, made it. Basically, you were living an upper middle class life. You had, enough discretionary income to go on vacations. You had enough discretionary income to eat out once in a while, enjoy your life. The six-figure salary was like something to aspire to, and it was something to kind of measure whether or not you had made it. But nowadays, people don't. Nowadays, the $100,000 is not even like meeting the minimum required to provide for a family of four. So this is absolutely outrageous, you guys. It's not you, you're not going crazy, it's the world. This is going downhill. This is going out of control. The world now is careening towards a point of no return where inflation has gone through the roof and things will never return back to normal. Gosh, you guys, even $100,000 and you're living check to check, you're living hand to mouth, and when does it stop? 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 300,000. How much money do you need in order to survive today's economy? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. This is just too much. When is it enough? You know, we have costs going through the roof. We are getting hit with everything, just hammered. And the government seems to be just oblivious and clueless about like what modern day society, the cost of modern day society, and a realistic number uh, is for a family of four to survive. You guys, show me a family of four in today's economy that can survive on the poverty line wage, which is $32,000 a year, and I will give you a cookie. I will give you a gold medal. I will give you like an award. That is simply absurd. Who can live and survive and feed a family of four on $32,000 a year, you guys? Anyways, I wanted to get this video out, and let me know what you guys think.